So all those major currencies, gold's trading at all-time high. It's not quite there at US dollar, but it's pretty damn close. So should we be upset about where gold is priced? I would argue not, because I think gold is sitting near an all-time high. Don't lose faith in gold and silver. Do not lose faith. We're at the end. You're at the end of the marathon. You don't want to quit when you're running the 100 meters and you're at 95 meters. Why would you do that? Don't quit. Don't quit. And also you're going to miss your payoff. You're going to miss that revaluation of your lifestyle because you have gold and silver, and it reflects the true value of things once this dollar system finally goes to hell, which is where it needs to go.
Robert Kientz is a well-known figure in the financial world as the editor and publisher of goldsilverpros.com. In this video, Robert Kientz highlights gold's robust performance in various currencies, underscoring its safe haven appeal. Gold priced in currencies such as British pounds, euros, Australian dollars, Japanese yen, and Chinese yuan have skyrocketed to all-time record highs, while USD gold has been capped at $2,000 for 7 of the past 8 monthly closings. Despite the short-term overbought situation in gold futures, every pullback over the last 2 weeks has been immediately bought and did not last very long. He also mentions that gold is trading close to its all-time high in US dollars. Gold firmed on Thursday as the US dollar and Treasury yields retreated on raised bets that the Federal Reserve may be done raising interest rates, while investors awaited US non-farm payrolls data for further cues. Robert believes gold has significant upside potential, reaching $4,000 to $5,000 per ounce when adjusted for real inflation. Global monetary supply and debt loads in the US and worldwide continue surging. Also, while inflation has moderated recently, it will likely persist, and we may see higher inflation levels become normalized in future years. Therefore, there is a high probability that gold will break out to new ATH soon, and we could see a considerable bull market stampede that may elevate the yellow metal to $5,000 or higher in the next 2 to 3 years. Now, we present the clips of Robert Kientz's insights from his recent video. Before we continue to delve into this discussion, please subscribe to our channel and activate the bell icon for timely updates.
Now, you may have heard recently on social media, because you're not going to hear it on the mainstream media, you hear it in social media or alternative media, that gold has been reaching all-time highs in a lot of other currencies outside the dollar. Well, gold is almost at an all-time high relative to the dollar, but if you can see here on the very end, it's not quite. It's trading at about $1,970, dollars an ounce this week. Sorry, everybody differs on that, and this chart's 2015, but I saw it touch on, I think, 2064. Some people say 2074 at the top of the candle. Didn't hold it, but it's somewhere in that 2060 range. I think all of us would agree on. But the good news is this chart shows that we're almost at all-time highs in gold. And so people really shouldn't be that discouraged. If you're sitting in a stock and it's sitting almost at its all-time high, you may be a little discouraged it hasn't gone higher, but you're not totally discouraged. Why would you be totally discouraged? If you bought Bitcoin and Bitcoin was trading up at 60,000 again, wouldn't you be happy? I think we have to get some perspective over where we are with regards to things. This chart goes back to 1969. Look at where gold was trading back here. It was 34 bucks an ounce back when it was regulated by the government, and it couldn't trade over that 35 bucks an ounce. And then as soon as they released the commodities markets and allowed gold to trade, freely, you started to see the rise, and there, when we had the big inflation in the 70s, late 80s, gold reached $697 an ounce. It's not inflation adjusted. That's just in real terms. And then gold spiked up, of course, in 2011 with the financial crisis to, what was it, 1900 was its all-time high. And then it spiked up again during the COVID crisis or the quote-unquote pandemic, and spiked up again during the bank failures. So gold has been doing largely what it's supposed to do, and you can see it's risen a lot. If I were to graph out since 2000, the stock markets, gold's beaten them. Now, the stock markets did do more here, but that's because gold, part of the time, was not tradable in the market. It was at a set price. And so I think there's still a lot of pent-up demand for gold. And I'll show you that in the next chart and how that works. But before we go into the pent-up demand for gold, and really the pent-up valuation for gold is really how I should be phrasing that. Look at it in other currencies. This is the pound, the British pound. If we pop that one on there, you can see that gold is trading at an all-time high. That's the dark red line. What if we add the euro to that chart? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high in the euro, although it hasn't been trading that long. We go to the Australian dollar. Well, it's at an all-time high in the Australian dollar. Look at there. That's the tip of that spear. What about the Canadian dollar? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high in the Canadian dollar. You can see on that one right there. What about the Swiss franc? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high there in the Swiss franc. You can see that green line down there. What about the Japanese yen? Well, gold's trading at an all-time high, and the Japanese yen, you can see that there. I'm going to skip these two because these are smaller currencies. We'll go to the CNY. Well, gold's trading an all-time high there too. And this is where it gets really fun. We'll get to some other ones. Here's the Singapore dollar, SGD. Well, gold's trading an all-time high there. So all those major currencies, gold's trading an all-time high. It's not quite there at US dollar, but it's pretty damn close. So should we be upset about where gold is priced? I would argue not, because I think gold is sitting at near an all-time high. So this chart, what the point I'm trying to make here is that gold has a lot of upside. If you adjust it for real inflation, gold should be trading probably at $4,000 to $5,000. Well, some people say $10,000 an ounce. I would say conservatively $5,000 an ounce easy. If you adjust it for real inflation dating back to the early 1970s, when they finally allowed gold to trade freely in the markets and to start reflecting, the monetary inflation we had. Of course, 1971, we came off the gold standard. 1974, we had the commodities markets in the U.S. come into being. So that's about the time when you started the gold price start to rise, because you start to see, gold and silver and all these other commodities traded on the U.S. exchange, and you saw the controls lifted of the peg of the dollar to gold and the gold standard. And so you began to see that. But when we're using CPI inflation numbers, you don't get a real valuation of gold to other things. You get it to this paper dollar and the lies that the government tells on the true inflation.
RobertKientz underscores the enduring value of gold and silver, urging people not to lose faith during this pivotal period. If you look at gold's performance historically, it's the kind of asset that should perform well through uncertainty, as it has done in 5 out of the last 7 recessions, said Joseph Cavatoni, Chief Market Strategist for North America at the World Gold Council. For people looking for a store of value and a portfolio diversifier, gold has a strong track record of delivering those qualities. Meanwhile, he foresees a revaluation of lifestyles through the transformation of the dollar system, with gold and silver revealing genuine asset values. Gold, which is used as a hedge against political and economic ambiguity, crossed the key $2,000 per ounce level last week as investors lean toward bullion amid growing unrest in the Middle East. Let's get back to the interview.
Don't lose faith in gold and silver. Do not lose faith. We're at the end. You're at the end of the marathon. You don't want to quit when you're running the 100 meters and you're at 95 meters. Why would you do that? Don't quit. Don't quit. And also you're going to miss your payoff. You're going to miss that revaluation of your lifestyle because you have gold and silver, and it reflects the true value of things once this dollar system finally goes to hell, which is where it needs to go. Because it's from hell, it needs to go back to hell. We need to stuff it back down to hell and say, screw you, we're done with this. Because the alternative, ladies and gentlemen, is go to CBDCs and the digital system, and it's a control system, and you will be digital slaves, and you'll never be able to get ahead, because they're just, anytime you get any value in your bank account, they're going to revalue it. And it doesn't matter what you do. There's not going to be any more entrepreneurism in society when that happens. They're going to suck it all up through their digital system. They're going to take it. That's what CBDCs are. It's a control system. It's to destroy the value of your labor, in my opinion. That's just my humble opinion. Go look at it for yourself. Do your own research. But that's the alternative. So if you give up on gold and silver, you're giving up on yourself. You're giving up on your children. You're giving up on everything. You're giving up on the notions that founded this country. Look at this "Don't tread on me" sign back here. Where did that come from? What does that mean? It's a libertarian. It's "Don't tread on me. I'm an individual. I have individual rights." What is the Constitution? Okay, what do we have over here? For those of you, one nation under God, if you will. What does that mean? What are all the sacrifices that have been made for us to have the lifestyle we had? From our forefathers, our parents, our ancestors that worked the land and toiled. Are we going to give that up? Because if you give up gold and silver, if you give up this, if you give up gold and silver, you give up your freedom. That's why we name the bar "Silver is freedom." So is gold. It's freedom. That's what you're giving up. So don't capitulate. Don't give up. Don't get discouraged. We're at the end. There's so much discouragement in the precious metals industry right now. The mining stocks, people are complaining the miners are getting hammered. The metals aren't doing what everybody thinks they should do. But that system is going to end soon. I don't have an exact day for you. I don't know. Only God knows that. I'm not God. But I can see what's going on, and I can tell you we're at the end. So stay strong.
Historically, many investors see gold as a crisis commodity. For this reason, prices tend to surge upward whenever there is geopolitical conflict or any form of economic downturn. During such times, physical gold and gold-backed securities tend to outperform. Of course, inflation is another major driver. Gold's poised for new all-time highs, making it a dependable safe haven asset. What are your thoughts on the recent performance and future prospects of gold as an investment? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. If you find this video informative, don't forget to support our channel and turn on notifications to stay informed about our latest videos. See you in the next video.